rec beam, we're going to go by beam as usual. So on the gray beam for beginner, they're going to do pivot turns holding the pit block and their elbows above the head. That way their arms are totally straight and they can't hold it with their hands and bend their elbows still. Then on the other side, we're going to go back to the lunge, T-lunge with the shoulder trainer. I saw a lot of good things happening with that, so I want to drill that one more time before we go on to the next kind of progression with that. For intermediate, they're going to do a lock hold for 10 seconds, holding the pit block and their elbows above their head, same thing, so their arms can be straight. And then they're going to do levers with the shoulder trainer on the other side, so try and go all the way to the beam and all the way back up. One tip I would give your kids is trying to move all at one time. If you go all the way down super slow and then try and stand up super fast, it's not really going to work. If you go down too fast, you may not be able to stand up. So trying to go an exact same speed and almost push off the beam to stand back up and go the exact same speed seems to help sometimes when explained that way, because a lot of kids get stuck at the bottom because they just kind of stop there. And then for advanced, they're going to do snap turns, meaning the pit block in the middle. So start the pit block in one hand. It'll touch both hands as you turn. And then a half handstand with the shoulder trainer. The feet never touch. So this is going to force their head to be in. So you may, stand there for the first time or have them all warm it up just so they can be comfortable doing it. And if your kids, we'll get to this later on, but in advanced, if your kids already have a back walkover, you won't really need to spot it like it says. And you can kind of just go back to that station and help them if need be. So moving on to beam 6, back to beginner, they're going to do calf raises holding the orange bungee under the beam, working on getting them to extend through the beam without actually jumping first. And then passe balance holding the 3-pound weight out in front. So getting them to have a force that would then pull them forward and have them try and not drop their arms and be able to balance at one time. Totally up to you the time frame. It'll just depend on your group of kids and what you think they can handle. For intermediate, they're going to do straight jumps holding the orange bungee under the beam. So the beam will be in one spot, the bungee will go underneath it, and their hands will hold the black part, so the two little handles. So that way they're kind of like pulling up, and as they jump, even if they let go, nothing's going to happen to them. The bungee will just fall to the floor. Then on the other side for intermediate, they're going to do kicks forward holding the 3-pound weight out in front. So it's kind of like a marker for them to kick to, but also a stabilizer for them to make sure that they're tight and not wobbly all over the place, because if they are, they won't be able to stay in one spot while holding that weight and kicking at the same time. And their arms will drop and it just won't be very much fun. So then for advanced, they're going to do tuck jumps holding the orange bungee under the beam, and then kick sideways holding the weight out in front, which will be a little bit more challenging because their weight is now going out to the side also and not just forward backward. So that'll be a real test on their core and things like that. Then back up, so to beam 5, they're going to do in beginner a mount. They're going to kicks holding the pit block out in front. So again, they have this marker to know where to kick to, and then straight jump down to SLP holding the pit block. You don't need an 8-incher under the beam. If you feel they are too small, please have them step down right now rather than jump down. But they are to be able to jump down to their regular beam mats and not have an extra form of padding. Sting mats are okay. The 4-incher is okay, but the 8-incher kind of makes it a little bit shorter of a distance than what they need to be able to jump to. So while it is a smart idea, and it is okay for right now, just know later on that if you are to be marking that off, if you've marked it off and that mat is there, just make sure they can still do it without that mat, because some kids, will get really scared when the mat's gone and refuse to do it. So that's also part of the reason. A lot of kids will see that extra mat and be more willing to go for stuff, but when you're in intermediate and advanced, you don't always really have that option to grab all of these extra mats for that stuff. So try and grab different mats this time if you're going to have them, jump down onto a mat. Then for the other side, they're going to do, they're going to be on the ground. They're going to do kicks forward beside the beam with their back facing the beam, which we've done these before also. So back facing the beam and kick forward, they can hold on with their arms behind them. For intermediate, they're going to do mount and then bunny hop halfway and then straight jump down to SLP. They do not have to use a pit block, but you can make them if you would like. Then the other side, they're going to do kicks backward beside the beam, so belly facing the beam. So belly touches the beam, hands are on the beam, kicks facing backwards. Then for advanced, they're going to do mount, and then a leap, and then their tuck jump, and then their dismount, which is their mini routine. And then kick sideways facing the beam, or no, kick sideways beside the beam, back facing the beam. So back against it, hands behind, and try and kick as close to the beam sideways as they can. On the floor beam, you're going to have spotted handstands for both beginner and intermediate. Kind of separate those with how you want your kids to do them, how you will, whether it's feet apart, whether it's both levels or all the way together, totally up to you. And then for advanced, they're going to do spotted back walkovers. For the floor station, it's going to be on a line. They're going to do cartwheels over the red block on the line. Same for both first two levels, and then advanced is going to do round offs over that block onto the line also.